Hello and thank you for watching. My name is Michael and I'm an accessibility analyst at NNELS. I was born with something called Axenfeld-Rieger syndrome, which gave me a 50% chance of developing glaucoma at a fairly young age. And as I'm sure you can guess due to the fact that I'm speaking to you now, I did. On top of this, I also have fragmented irises, which means I am incredibly light sensitive. And lastly, due to the wear and tear brought on from multiple surgeries, my corneas now have the nasty habit of retaining fluid, giving me cataract-like symptoms that vary depending on the day. Now, this is all to say that my accessibility needs vary day to day. Sometimes I can comfortably use zoom and inverted colors, whereas others I'm forced to rely on voiceover, screen readers, or text-to-speech programs. This is where accessibility metadata is so important. It allows me as a consumer to make informed purchases on products. It allows me to know whether or not I'll be able to use anything on a good day, if I'm able to use it on a bad day, or at all for that matter. Today we'll just be looking at navigating through library websites and applications, so my wallet's not exactly coming into the picture here. And as a resident of Ottawa, I think it's only natural that we start with the Ottawa Public Library website. Now, I've searched Stephen Fry, which gave us access to filters. I've gone ahead and removed all the physical books available at the library, giving us only the ebooks present.
Mythos, ebook, heading, page 2 of 6. Page 3 of 6. Page 2 of 6. Page 1 of 6.
So let's go ahead and open up Mythos.
Group results view, selected, button, Mythos, ebook, heading level 2, visited, link. Skip to main navigation, link. Web page loaded.
And we're met with the title,
Mythos, heading level 1. Page 2 of 9.
a synopsis, and the formats available, but nothing else. No accessibility metadata is present. So in a situation like this, I'm far more tempted to take out multiple books at once, maybe 4 or 5, just in case the first one I choose doesn't have the accessibility features that I need for that given day. After all, I'm just borrowing from the library, so it's not costing me anything. But this mentality can cost the library some money. Depending on how this license was agreed upon with the library, a fee can be charged just for the mere act of opening up the book. Now, accessibility metadata, had it been present, the only reason I'd be no longer reading a title is due to lack of enjoyment, not simply opening up a title, realizing that, okay, this doesn't meet my needs, so I'm not going to go any farther than the table of contents or the first chapter. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other affiliated websites with the Ottawa Public Library.
Toolbar, back, button. Skip to main navigation, link. Web page loaded. Main navigation, button. Main navigation,
Go to
home, visited,
browse.
link, browse, collapsed, link. Recent activity, link, list start.
And books.
Books, visited, link, list start. Skip to main content, in page link. View all books, heading level 2,
And
link.
we scroll down a little bit.
Page 2 of 7. Page 3 of 7. Getting started with Hoopla Digital, link.
We're met with Hoopla, Overdrive, and Tumble Books, websites that specialize in ebooks and audiobooks. Let's go ahead and open one of them up.
Hoopla, heading level 2. Getting started with Hoopla Digital. Overdrive ebooks and audiobooks, heading level 2, visited, link. Overdrive ebooks and audiobooks, heading level 2, visited, link. Borrow Between the World and Me, button.
And we can see once we open up Overdrive, all of these books are nicely categorized in various collections for our viewing pleasure, whether or not we want to look at Canadian award winners, or, given that it's February, any books from prominent African American authors.
Between the World and Me, Between the World and Me, ebook, link, image.
Let's go ahead and
Number
take
1
a
New York
look at
Times
one of
bestseller,
these
ETA
books.
Fantasy, and quotes, A book TS, O, you are in between, S, the world, NG, TY, and ME, or this is required reading, Toni Morrison.
And
Ottawa
let's
Public
see if
Library,
there's
Overdrive
any
Digital Collection, visited,
accessibility
link,
metadata
image, navigation,
present.
landmark. Title details for between, page 1 of 5, page 2 of 5. Page 3 of 5.
Which,
Page 2 of
regrettably,
5.
there is not. Now, on a website like this, where the ebooks and audiobooks are so close together, I may be tempted to simply take an audiobook instead of grabbing 5 ebooks at once. After all, the shepherd in my wallpaper does require about 5 kilometers of walking a day, and regrettably for me, he happens to love Canadian winters. So the only thing keeping me from focusing on my frozen fingers is a well-crafted story taking me out of the frozen, desolate wasteland of Canada. Unlike the previous 2 websites, Nels specializes in accessibility metadata. Right away off the homepage, we can see we're given access to a variety of collections. But let's take a look at the entire catalog as a whole.
Toolbar. Forward. Button. Jump to main navigation. In-page link.
From here, we can
Reset all
see
filters. Link.
right away we have a plethora of filters to choose from. Most importantly, the ones that catch my eye, of course, are the accessibility features
Filter by accessibility.
present,
Heading page 2 of 17.
as well as the available formats. So let's go ahead and narrow things down a little bit for us.
Doc 1000. Daisy 202. Full RTF 300. Daisy 202. Audio 13,246. BRF. Electronic Braille 354. Doc 1482. Checkbox. Unchecked. Checked. Print page numbers 1548. Heading navigation 7. Show more. Link. Page 3 of 17. Page 4 of 20. Page 5 of 20.
Now, with those features being added,
The hero narrator of The Catcher in the Rye is an ancient child of 16, a native New Yorker named Holden Caulfield. Page 6 of 20.
right away the list has shrunk a little bit, and we can see the available accessibility features present within each title without having to go into the actual titles
Morrison
page.
narrates for 3 hours and lays out
We
before
can
us the
get
complex
that
lives and backgrounds of 4
information
generations of black family life in the South. Central is page 7 of 20.
directly from the list.
Page 8 of 20.
This takes a weight off of my shoulders, knowing that I can choose a title specifically that will meet my accessibility needs on a good or bad day for my eyes. After all, reading is a leisurely, fun activity. You don't want to add any undue stress or anxiety unless it's brought about by the actual story itself, not from having to read the book itself. We've taken a look at a few different websites. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the library applications.
Doc. Safari. Libby. Double tap to open. Libby. URL. Title.
Libby's doing something very interesting at the moment. The Atlantic Publishers Marketing Association, in tandem with Overdrive, are currently experimenting in ways of communicating accessibility metadata to the user. And if we scroll down just a
Borrow.
little bit,
Link.
you'll see what I mean.
Page 2 of 8.
So right here, we're met with all of the features present within this title, letting me know that I'll be able to read this book if it kind of caught my fancy. From what I understand, this daunting task is being done one at a time manually, as a one at a time process. And while these features aren't yet present in the entire library catalog, nor are they filterable or searchable, just knowing that these are there and present in some of the titles takes a weight off my shoulders and know that it is incredibly appreciated. Now, we also have the option
Shelf. Tab. 4 of
of
5.
taking a look at the shelf
Select
itself
URL,
within
shelf.
Libby. And you can see all of my titles
Open in Libby.
themselves
Button.
present.
Page 2 of 4.
And as I stated earlier, I do tend to take a couple books at a time just to find out whether or not they'll meet my accessibility needs.
Page 4 of 4.
Currently,
Reading now. Eaters
I'm
of the Dead.
reading
Description.
Eaters of the
Open as
Dead
title. Button.
by Michael Crichton.
URL. Open.
And when we open up the title, we can see it does have the read aloud feature. So I know that regardless of the day, at the swipe of a couple fingers, I can read this title.
In this all the men were the same except for Bullywith. In this all the men were the same except for Bullywith, who alone carried a sword in his hand. So large was it. The warriors looked up to the great hall of Hrothgar, and marveled at its gleaming roof and skilled workmanship, and agreed that there was none like it in the world, with its lofty gables and rich carving. Yet there was no respect in their speech.
These features make a world of difference for someone in my position where my vision fluctuates depending on the day. It allows me to safely know that I don't have to fully rely on audiobooks if I want to read. I can read actual ebooks, whether or not I'm using the read aloud feature that is present within some of the titles, or if I'm relying on extra large fonts. Now, this next bit may come as a bit of a curveball, but given how close we are to where the Jays play, I think the occasional curveball is allowable now and then. Video games are becoming a more and more popular resource being borrowed from libraries. And currently great strides in accessibility are being made, whether it's navigational assistance or button remapping. The smallest of things are making a world of difference. Accessibility metadata still also needs to be communicated. And on the two largest digital storefronts for Xbox and PlayStation, this is being communicated only numerically, how many accessible features are present within a game, not what they are. This forces the user to actually hunt these things down, going to the actual websites for the games themselves. I'll show you what I mean in a moment.
Dock. Safari. Double tap to open. Safari.
Now,
Vertical scroll bar. 9 pages. 1%. Hogwarts Legacy accessibility features. A11Y. Heading level 1.
this is
Hogwarts Legacy
the
accessibility
website
features.
for the
A11Y.
game Hogwarts Legacy, which came out in February of 2023. Surprisingly, on the Xbox and PlayStation storefront, this game is listed as having no accessibility features. And yet, if we scroll down just a little,
Hogwarts Legacy. Page 2 of 10.
we can see that the accessibility features are not only broken up into which category and aid they provide,
You'll find
But
the
we can
accessibility
see
features
that there
available to Hogwarts.
are-
Page 3 of 10.
quite a few of them present.
Page 4 of 10.
This means that the users not only have to hunt down this information, but sometimes titles are listed as not even being present of having accessibility features, only to find out after the fact that there are in fact features available and the user could in fact play this game. Now I bring this up because if the library is thinking about adding accessibility metadata for the books, well, video games should also be thought of having the accessibility metadata added. After all, woe to the parent who brings their child home a game only to find out that, oh no, they're unable to play it for specific reasons. To quote the actor-comedian Billy Connolly, "When I was an unhappy little boy, going to the library changed my life. It maybe even saved it." As amazing as that sounds, literature can do that. Books are your ticket to the entire world. They're your free ticket to the entire earth. Libraries have the wonderful obligation and opportunity to foster imagination and a love of reading. And we don't want this to be a gated community. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.